Hello everyone and welcome back to the Story Nook. Today we're going to be reading some petty revenge stories, and this one is a 3-parter from like 4 months ago, but still a 3-parter. And if the sound quality sounds different, it's because I'm recording in my bedroom actually, because didn't have work today because they don't have any work for us to do in the section they have me in. And they won't put me in the section they had me in originally because they're being stupid. But that's okay, I had 2 job interviews today. Let's hope one of those calls me back. Our first story comes from Patient Currency 8868. Little sister calling me a parasitic leech. Enjoy the Amish lifestyle. I'm a 28-year-old and live in a town with an inflation crisis. I moved back in with my parents since we have a good relationship. I buy all the groceries and pay the electric bill. My little sister, 16, however, was not happy. She was saying that I should be a man and move out again. A few weeks ago, she started continuously calling me a freeloader and a parasitic leech. My parents are anti-tech. They are not part of a cult. They just avoid tech and prefer to live a simple life. The only modern tech they use is a laundry machine, a car, a flip phone, and a TV. Our parents don't, however, take away our gadgets if we paid for it ourselves. When I turned 18 and looked for my first job, I had to handwrite a resume since I didn't have a computer or a printer. It's hard to get a job while still in school because of the poor job market in our town. My little sister was lucky. I bought her a smartphone with data plans and she was a young child. Yet she was continuously calling me all of these names. Eventually, my little sister's constant name-calling got on my nerves, and I came up with an idea. As the smartphone is under an active installment plan, I simply repossessed the smartphone. Now she's having the same childhood I had. Oh, and she stopped with the name-calling. Enjoy the Amish lifestyle, little sis. See, with this first part, don't bite the hand that feeds you, kiddo. Because, like, you're over here insulting your brother, but your brother is the only reason you have a smartphone. So, enjoy that. And now we're on our part 2. It has been a while since I took back my smartphone, which I had been lending to my little sister, because she kept calling me a parasitic leech for having to move back home due to the rising cost of living. She has had no access to the internet since because our parents are pretty anti-tech and because she has no job. I believe that consequences should be fair, impartial, and reasonable. Reasonable being the key word here. With that said, I decided to give back the smartphone to my little sister as she stopped with the constant name-calling. Was being a bit friendly, and because I felt bad for her as she was sleeping in bed all day from boredom. The library has books, kiddo. I don't know, I remember, like, before technology, I used to take a whole shit ton of printer paper and divide that shit up to make frames so I could make animations. Life is very short, and I don't want to hold grudges with anyone, especially my own sister. So I gently knocked on her door with the smartphone in hand. Hi, little sister, I greeted her through the closed door. Effing what? See, my sister yelled. I replied, well, I was going to give you back the smartphone, but it seems like you want to be left alone, so I'll leave you be. Enjoy the day, little sis. She then came out begging for the phone back. I told her that my friend really needed a smartphone, so I was thinking of giving it to him. She sighed and went back into her room. She's sleeping now. I think I'll let her buy her own phone this time. Hopefully she will mature in the coming years. She was a sweet child a couple years ago, and I hope that she'll be a sweet person in a couple more. 16. Very much an attitude problem. But yeah. And this, our darling viewers, is from 12 days ago. And this is the background that pretty much explains everything else that we just read previously. Final update on Christmas morning. After my last standoff with my little sister, where a smartphone had become a pawn in our game of household politics, I noticed her demeanor had shifted. She was less combative, perhaps a sign of an epiphany. However, I couldn't resist one final move. Pardon me, I am sick. For Christmas, I bought my sister a new woolen beanie, but I also dug up another old smartphone from my drawer. A phone with a shattered screen and a very poor battery life. I wrapped them up in a parcel and left them underneath the Christmas tree. Her initial excitement quickly fizzled as she seen the phone's condition. Later that afternoon, she confronted me, not with anger, but with a calm respect. She said she was grateful for the smartphone despite its flaws, and that she loved the beanie. In light of all this, I ordered her a new battery for the smartphone. Old smartphones were replaceable batteries for the win. Yes, very nice. Unfortunately for her, though, she'll have to deal with the cracked screen until she saves up enough money for a new phone. Luckily, she got a new job at her friend's pizza joint and can save up for it. This is petty revenge, after all. Disclaimer. I understand that my initial actions would have hinged on theft if the phone were paid off. I apologize for any offense caused to the Amish community. Emulating these actions with your loved ones may result in estrangement. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. The way I feel about it personally... Excuse me, this is probably a spam call. Hello? Yep. I say hello when they answered, and they immediately hang up. So they're probably spam. But yeah. The way I see it, personally, as someone who, I was given a little flip phone with, like, a prepaid card from my mom, because the school, there was an issue with the bus or something, so they took us all back to school, but they apparently didn't call any of our parents. And when I asked for, like, a phone to call my parents, they told me to ask another student said I could, but they forgot to let me borrow their phone because someone else was using it. So, yay. So I just sat at the school until they got a new bus to, like, take us home because I had no way of contacting my mom. That's how I got my first flip phone. I eventually, like, I remember I was using my mom's phone. She had one of those flip-out keyboard phones. I was using that to type up fan fictions on it at some point, because no one was calling her anyway. And then I eventually got, my dad got me my first smartphone. I believe I was in college, because he was tired of not being able to fucking contact me. Himself, especially since, like, we were essentially homeless living in a car, and he was worried, and yada yada. And he's still worried about stuff now. So, that's how I got my first smartphone. But I was never rude to my dad about it or anything. I was always grateful for the phone. And I'm just like, you bought the phone for her, but she needed some humbling, it seemed. So it's whatevs. I'm stretching. But that is today's episode of the Story Nook with Petty Revenge. Under 8 minutes, amazingly. So, yeah. Give me a little while to drink some water, get this cough out my system. All of you have a great day. Remember to stay hydrated. Go check out some other videos, because that would be a great help for me. Let me know what other stories or Reddit threads you would like me to read down in the comments below. I might not be able to produce as many videos as I want. I'm gonna try. But it's mainly because some stuff's happening in my, like, home situation, and I might be homeless yet again come January or March. We're hoping for the best, but at the same time, not that much. So, bye-bye.